With the final shape concluding the Light and Darkness saga over a year ago, we have now entered a new multi-year saga called the Fate Saga, and its first expansion will be launching in 1 week's time, and I knew nothing about it before today. So in this video I'm going to go over most of the major details I managed to grab from other streamers / Reddit reports about the expansion and the things that interested me. Any screenshots or menu gameplay used in this video is not owned by me. Please don't sue me, Bungie. I want to start off by saying, yes, there's a new campaign. Yes, there's a new destination, obviously Kepler. I don't want to really cover that because I wasn't really interested in looking at anything to do with it, just due to spoilers or dialogue spoilers. I just kind of want to experience that myself when the DLC launches. The main thing I want to focus on today is just the interior of the game, what's being updated, what's being added, etc. It's not going to be a mega long video, and it's probably stuff you've already heard before. This is pretty much for my benefit and my benefit only, just so I can get an idea in my head of what's to come. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is leveling. So as far as I'm aware, we're having a complete power overhaul, which is great because the old one was kind of stale. I think we hit like 2,000 power and it was just getting a bit ridiculous. So as soon as the Edge of Fate launches, we're all getting set back to level 10. There is going to be no one at 2,000 power anymore. We're all just going back to the basic 10. Now the gradual progression of power is going to range between 10 and 200, which I can imagine is going to be done through regular activities such as strikes or playlist activities, whatever the seasonal activity is going to be, or just a campaign run. I'm not too sure how easy that's going to be, the 10 to 200 grind, but I mean, we'll see. For 200 plus though, that's going to be our seasonal level cap, going all the way up to 450. When the Ash and Iron major update launches later this year, this is going to increase from 450 to 550. Again, I want to reiterate, I don't know how long this grind is going to be, because I'm pretty sure we've got around 6 months to get from 200 to 450 or 200 to 550. I can't really remember what the time frame is, but that's till Renegades. Now when Renegades launches, the seasonal level is going to reset. So whatever level you're at, say for example we're at level 378, as soon as Renegades launch, we get set back to 200. Pretty much a soft reset. How do I feel about it? It's fine. Leveling got to a point where it was getting really stale for multiple seasons, when they were doing seasons anyway. For big expansions, it was okay because there was quite a big jump in the grind. We were grinding from like 80 to 100 levels, sometimes even 200 levels. I mean, we went up to 2,000. I just think the grind got a little bit out of hand when it came to later expansions during the Light and Darkness saga. And it became kind of tedious to do the same thing over and over and over again. So maybe experimenting with something new is going to change up the feel of the game, make it feel a little bit more fresh. Maybe it's going to feel the exact same. I'm not too sure. But to be honest, it will be nice to just do something different and play what I want to play to gradually level up, instead of being forced into activities such as pinnacle raids that I just don't want to do. For example, if Vault of Glass came into rotation, I don't want to be forced to do that to get my pinnacle reward and then just leave, and then that's me bumped up a single power level. It just feels unnecessary and you don't feel like you're getting stronger. Whereas maybe with this, it's going to make it feel a little bit different. Maybe I'm chatting shit. Maybe it's not going to make it feel different. Only time will tell. Now the next thing I'm going to talk about is the portal. So the portal is just pretty much a simplistic destinations tab. There's been a lot of times where I've come back to the game and the destination tab is just full of information and full of new activities I'm just kind of stunned by, don't know what to do, don't know where to start, and it just kind of forces me to head to the tower, look around, and then log off. I think this seems to be their solution for that. Instead of logging in, heading straight to the tower, logging off, it seems to be a way to just kind of get you into the game, throw some activities at you, what the rewards are going to be, and just throw you into the game quicker. So I might have something at the screen now, but in the bottom left corner, there are now 4 different tabs. You'll see them under Solo, Fireteam, Pinnacle, and Crucible. These are obviously our tabs of where we're going to access activities regarding what we are wanting to chase. Whether that's a solo activity, like if I'm on my own and I wanted to go do like a solo dungeon, or just something simple like a lost sector, whatever, that's where I'm going to find those kind of activities, and it's going to suggest a load. With a fire team activity, it's just going to be the exact same. Doesn't matter, it's going to be like a playlist activity, like a strike. Pinnacle activity is probably most likely going to be your exotic missions / raids / anything else that's pinnacle level, and then obviously your Crucible tab as well for your Crucible mains who want to just go straight into the Crucible as soon as they log on. Now importantly, when you hover over an activity in the menu, I'll probably have it right here on screen, there are going to be green engrams showing off completion rewards when you hover over a certain activity. Now this completion reward doesn't overwrite the rewards you get when you complete the activity. So say you complete the activity, you'll get the rewards for that activity plus the bonus reward from this green engram. It's really good for target farming. So say if I was chasing after a helmet, all of my gear's up to level except for my helmet, and I really needed a helmet, I could look for an activity that is solely targeting a helmet piece that day, go do that mission, come out with a new helmet, and then I'm back up to level and back up to where I need to be. So that's a pretty good way of like just target farming. I also want to say, apparently there is now no cap as to how much you can grind in the day or the week to power level. So say for example, in previous expansions, we used to have like daily strikes or weekly strikes or weekly nightfall challenges. That's just no longer the case. The rewards, you can just keep grinding for as long as you want. So the grind pretty much doesn't stop until you stop, which is a fantastic change for the people who want to keep grinding on the first week, but it's also a good change for the people who want to take it steady and come in bit by bit, maybe do an hour a day or maybe a couple hours. It's not like everyone's trying to cram in their weekly challenges anymore. It simplifies it and it makes it a little bit easier to navigate almost. There's no chasing certain activities or doing things you don't want to do to level up. You can just level up however you please. As you level, you're obviously going to unlock higher difficulties for activities, increasing the rewards you get, being probably higher tiered armor / weapons, which I'll cover later on in the video. As far as I'm aware, the difficulties list as follows, being normal, advanced, expert, master, grandmaster, and ultimate. Ultimate, I haven't got a Scooby what that's going to be like, because the only thing I'm aware of is Grandmaster. That was like pretty high on the challenge board. Obviously you have contest raids, which is higher than that, but Grandmaster was like just below that. It was easier. It was way easier than contest raids and contest dungeons. However, that was kind of, they used to be like the end game activity. Now not so much because we power crept so much. Ultimate, I'm kind of hoping they bring back to that level of complexity and how Grandmasters used to feel, because I feel like we have power crept so much that they can't make Grandmasters any harder. So they've had to scrap the idea of just making Grandmasters harder and make it a completely new difficulty. But now that I'm saying that out loud, that just means they could have bumped up I don't know. Well, again, they've probably announced how Ultimate's going to work and I just haven't seen it. But I'll just see it when it comes out eventually. Activities now also have rankings ranging from I think C up to A. I don't think there's any S tier. I don't think there's any D tier. I haven't seen any D tier anyway, but you can have C, C+, B, B+, A+. Obviously the higher the rank you get, the better reward you get. And the way you increase your rank, so let's say you do a strike on expert and you have a predicted grade of a C+. Now you can increase that predicted grade by adding modifiers on to make the strike more challenging, or if you wanted to, make it easier. So you can add positive modifiers or you can add negative ones. Doesn't really matter. But the way you are going to increase your rewards is by increasing the amount of modifiers you have. Negative modifiers, that is anyway, which I think is a good change, and I think is a good way of balancing challenge / rewards. I don't know, again, it's just gonna have to be something that I deal with hands-on and see how it feels. I will probably have a video out straight after I've finished the campaign on my thoughts of everything in the game, how I feel things are working, how the campaign was, everything like that. Again, I'm getting off topic, doesn't really matter. What I'm trying to say is I think the ranking system is a good way forward of how to dish out loot. Now, this is the main thing I wanted to talk about, because when I read this, it was really interesting to me and I thought it was a really, really good step in the right direction. So I want to go on to build crafting, especially the tiered weapons / armor. I'm not going to go too much into armor because I haven't investigated too much into it and I don't know much about the bonuses you get from it. However, I do want to go into the weapons because the weapons were the things that really got me excited. So they're introducing tiered weapons now, obviously 1 through 5, 1 being the lower end and 5 being the higher end. The way you obtain these weapons is just by doing harder activities. So your normal activities are going to drop tier 1 weapons. The harder the activity, you're going to start unlocking tier 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 5 being the pinnacle of the activities. So each tier of weapon has different attributes. For example, with tier 1 being the most basic and our regular drop that we're used to seeing, these weapons are going to come with a barrel and a mag perk, 3rd and 4th column perk, and then most likely an origin trait if it has one. Now when we move on to tier 2, if you get a tier 2 weapon to drop, it's going to come with enhanced 3rd and 4th column perks currently rolled on the weapon. By the way, if I'm getting any of this wrong, please let me know down below because I'm just going off of what I have read. This is just information that I have written down from things I have read and / heard. So tier 2 already sounds pretty good. So tier 3 is adding an extra row of enhanced perks, which is going to be fantastic for just swapping and changing during activities because it's just going to give you more versatility to swap and change as you please and change your playstyle to what best suits you in that moment of time. Yes, it can be annoying to swap perks during gameplay, but say you're in PvE 1 minute and you wanted to go straight to PvP and you had a PvE and a PvP roll on that weapon, you can just swap your perks. Instead of swapping your weapons, swap your perks. It's just a cool feature, and that's only tier 3. That's not even tier 5 yet. So with a tier 4 weapon, you've got an enhanced barrel and mag perk, and you have 2 3rd and 4th column perks that are also enhanced. That's ridiculous. And for tier 5, that gives you a 3rd row of perks to play with, also being enhanced. So you have 3 3rd column perks, you have 3 4th column perks, you have an enhanced barrel, an enhanced mag, and an enhanced origin trait with an enhanced mod socket along with it. These are going to absolutely be the pinnacle of the chase when it comes to chasing good gear. I think I read somewhere as well about tier 5 weapons having a special effect upon killing enemies, and I think it has a unique look as well. I'm not too sure, but it sounds legit, and if it is, that's really cool. But I imagine these weapons are going to be really sought after and really hard to chase, which is good in itself because it's good to have a chase in a game like this because it's a looter shooter. Things were getting a little bit easy when it came to chasing loot in Destiny, and I think it's missing the fact of having good loot to chase, having exciting rewards to go after. I think that's what the game was missing, and this is a really good step in the right direction. Now I want to quickly talk about set bonuses when it comes to legendary armor. So most of you are probably familiar with the Division and how set bonuses already work, but if you haven't played anything similar to that, I'll explain it really quickly. A set bonus is just a bonus stat or bonus attribute to a certain set of stats or attributes that are already on your person for wearing a certain set of gear. Let's say you have 4 pieces of a certain set of named gear. Now you can either equip 2 pieces to gain a small bonus for wearing 2 pieces of gear, or you can equip 4 pieces of gear to gain a larger bonus for wearing an entire set. Now obviously they're not going to make you wear 5 pieces just due to you using an exotic, which I think is very thoughtful, obviously. But I think this is really good for when it comes to build crafting and what you want to do when it comes to experimenting with build crafting. You are able to wear 2 pieces of a set on 2 different sets, totaling 2 sets and 2 set bonuses. I'll explain that in simpler terms because that was a lot of words really quickly. It made sense to me, it probably didn't make sense to you, but I'll explain it a little bit simpler. Let's say you own 2 different sets and you like the small bonuses of each set. Let's say one gives you health upon kill and one gives you bonus damage for picking up an orb of power. Now, what you can do is equip 2 pieces of the one set that obviously give you the health, and you can also wear 2 pieces of the other set, which is going to give you both bonuses at the same time. One doesn't cancel out the other. You can have 2 bonuses. Obviously you can't have 2 large bonuses because that would require 8 pieces of gear and you only have 5 gear slots. So in simple terms, it's just you getting 2 bonuses for 2 different sets. That's all I was trying to say. It's a great thing. I'm glad they're doing this. I think the Division always had it right when it came to gear sets and how they did it, giving the small bonus, because it is a small bonus, but you can feel it, especially now in Destiny 2. I think one of the bonuses is you replenish health upon obtaining an Orb of Power, which I'm fairly sure is just the recuperation mod. So you're just going to have that procced all the time because it's built into a set bonus. So I think set bonus is a great addition. I can't see anything bad going on with it. And they have announced that they are going to add set bonuses to every bit of new gear that comes out in the future. Right, now probably the biggest thing that everyone's kind of talking about, and a lot of you are already familiar with, the stats update and the stats rework. I'll quickly explain the current way stats work for the people that aren't familiar. Stats come in 6 different categories, varying in different areas of enhancing your character. These are mobility, resilience, recovery, discipline, intellect, and strength. These all just enhance your character the more points you put into them. The point system, the way it works, stats give you a bonus every major stat level, meaning every 10 levels of a stat will give you a set bonus for said stat going from 10 all the way up to 100. So let's just say you have resilience at 70. If you then pump your resilience up to 75, you're not going to get any bonus for that. Even if you get it to 79, you're not going to get any bonus for that. The only way you get an extra bonus to that statistic is if you get it up to 80%. I keep saying percent. It's not percent. It's just 80. It's just a flat number. And it always caps out at 100. If you go above 100, that's what we call a wasted stat. So at the moment, the leveling system for stats is kind of whack and it's kind of wonky, which is why I'm really happy that they're actually reworking it and looking into how the stats benefit us. Now, quickly, just to go over the new stats. Now we have 6 different stat variations under health, melee, grenade, super, class, and weapon. Much easier to understand, much easier to navigate what you want where. I'm not going to go over what each stat does specifically because they do have more of a meaning than just what their name is, but all you need to know is that every stat point that you now pour into a level is going to give you a bonus, whether that's 1, 5, 7, whatever, doesn't matter how much you put into it, it's going to give you a bonus. Even if it's a minuscule one, it's going to give you something for it. So there's no longer wasted levels. The cap has also increased from 100 to 200, and I'm fairly sure everyone has a flat amount of 100 resilience and 100 recovery from now on, meaning you can't teeter below that, which is fantastic news because everyone would always just try and get their stats to 100 resilience or 100 recovery. And it just meant there was no like build crafting and no experimenting with stats and like what you can do with your armor. Whereas now we can do that because we have free range to do that. Because back in the day when we were doing day 1 raids, you needed 100 resilience, you needed 100 recovery, or you needed a certain amount of intellect just to get you through an activity. Whereas now you don't need that. You can experiment with what you have. But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in new stats. Right, now the last thing I want to talk about before I end it is the new raid. A new raid launches the first Saturday after launch, which is great. It's only 4 days after launch. And I wanted to know if anyone is out there who has made it to the end of this video and is keen to do a day 1 raid. I will absolutely be keen to do one if I'm not working. If I'm not working and someone is available to do a day 1 raid, I am absolutely down to do that. I think it'll be really fun because this is the first year I haven't had a proper team to do it with because everyone else has bailed now and no one really plays anymore. But I think the raid's going to be cool. It looks like it's 9 themed, which is sick. I love the 9. It'd just be really interesting to do. But anyway, yeah, thank you all for watching. I know I ranted and I raved for a little bit, but I appreciate you if you stuck out till the end. Like I said, this isn't really for you guys. Even if you have learned something, that's great. This is mainly for me because I didn't even know what was coming to the game until about an hour ago. So, yeah, I covered some things. There's probably a load more that I've missed. Feel free to leave it down below if there is anything I've missed that is like major. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. Laters.